don't know about you guys, but I'm happy.
Yay! You're happy.
I'm so happy.
You're happy.
I am.
Woo!
What's on your mind?
I'm so happy. I'm gonna rip my face off.
What?
Videos here.
That's opposite from happy.
Well, you could be so happy that. Right.
That just sounds exciting.
Exactly.
I'm excited. And I'm excited because... Well, I'm excited for a couple reasons. You're crazy. One of the reasons I'm really excited, Lexi, one of the reasons... Is because NH Booking has finally announced Swarmiefest.
Hell yeah!
Yo, there was some people who really didn't even think it was gonna happen. Like they were like, there was like this whole like, I don't know what's gonna happen Swarmiefest 2 culture.
Yeah.
Like during the week, I had to email the booking agents and just ask, you know, with the oncoming amount of rumors in the air, is everything okay with Swarmiefest? I didn't doubt for a second, but I just to cross my T's and dot my I's, I figured, what the hell? Why don't we jump in there?
Doesn't hurt to send a message, a little check engine light.
And of course, everything was fine. Mm-hmm. I mean, we do have 100 days to the event. Sepsiss doesn't usually. I know other bands do a little bit more, a little less. People in the chat can tell me what they think is good. But for us, we don't usually book like a local show unless it's 100 days out or so. Mm-hmm. And that's because like a lot of local bands just get into the bad habit, like we did when we were kids. We'd wind up playing the same bar every Saturday, or wind up playing the same 2 or 3 cities for the whole season, and then you get to the end of the season, and they'll be like, Suzanne and Dave will be there, you know, and be like, "Thanks for coming out, Dave."
Right.
You know, and really, if there's 10 people in the audience and they're the best 10 you can have, fantastic. But if it's 10 and it's the same 10 and it's the only 10, you're really putting a lot of pressure on that 10 people to come to every show. Mm-hmm. So, you know, once you've been a band as long as we have, quality over quantity. Mm-hmm. For us. So the reason why we do that is so we're not playing the same circuit too much and oversaturating ourselves. So we book about 100 days out because our philosophy is if you have like 5 bands and there's a member, you have 5 members in each of these bands on the bill. So you have 5 bands on the bill and each band has 5 members. And you have 100 days to the gig. If every single band member was responsible for inviting 1 or 2 people a day for the next 100 days, you're going to get a couple 100 people in the building. Yeah. Even if 50% could make the commitment. Well, Facebook, like, here's another one. Facebook allows you to have, 1,000 friends, 5,000 friends, right?
Yeah, I think it's 5 is the max.
That's a lot. 5,000. And when's the last time you played in front of 5,000 people? Never. 5,000. I mean, so if you got, let's say you have 5,000 slots on Facebook, and 10% of those are really your friend, or really somebody that would potentially go to a show. Let's say 500 of them. Okay? That's 500 people. If you missed that 50%, you'd still have 250 people going to the club. Mm. You know what I mean? If 75% of them got sick, you know what I'm saying? You'd still have 60, 70 people going to the club. Right. Holy shit.
What up, Kaiser?
You know what I'm saying? So what winds up happening is everybody books the gig and people do their first initial invites, and then there'll be 100 days from the start or the generation of the build of the gig, and then there'll be all this time in between where bands and promoters I don't know what they're doing. Mm. But what we do here is instead of inviting 100 people every couple of weeks or spamming people at the end, or a lot of bands, they'll book a cool gig. They'll rely on the big headliner, the celebrity, or the public figure person. They'll buy all the tickets, or they'll just, assume a passive position and let the headlining bands, do the work, pull the draw. So instead of having all that anxiety in between the initial generation or build of the gig until the culmination of completion of everybody loading in, the best way to do it is, as an individual, I don't try to get 100 guys in the show the week of the gig. Instead, I talk to 1 or 2 people every day until the gig. So, and you know what I'm saying? So instead of inviting and trying to talk to 100 people hours before a gig, I get to relax and smoke weed. Instead of panicking and trying to scrape up a bunch of cash and running around, I've kind of like done a lot of my pre-production and talking to my friends and family. And the other thing I do, I know this is a little winded, but another thing that I do, because hopefully this is helpful to somebody out there. Another thing that I would do is check in with people between the event and the first time that you talk to them. I think a lot of time initially people say, hey, you want to go to the gig? And people say yes or no. But 100 days out is tough for people nowadays to make plans. It's like just enough time where people can make plans, but sometimes it's so long. Somebody could get sick, right? Somebody comes out. So what I do, I know that if a room has 300 capacity, 300 people can fit inside a room, okay? We'll book the gig 100 days out. And then there's 3 to 5 bands. I'll tell every individual in each band, don't ask 100 people to go. Ask 2 people to go each day. So right now we have 100 days to the gig. What I would tell all the bands and people that are involved, you don't need everybody. That's everybody. Who likes everybody? Really? Nobody wants to see everybody. They sell Blue Ridge. They say you can see everybody. But you can't see everybody. You subscribe to Spotify. Why? Because they have everything. Nobody listens to everything.
No.
Most people subscribe $100 a month for DSP like Spotify. Okay? But they listen to under 30 artists a month. So you're spending, $8 and they just raised it actually.
I know, I'm pissed.
Right, but think of what you're paying for. You're paying $11 a month to only listen to 30 artists a month.
Right.
So if your Spotify subscription is $120 a year, Spotify's only going to deliver or suggest to you, or even by your own appetite, it's widely understood that people who stream music or people that experience music through DSPs only experience under 40 artists a month.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So and when you're listening to an artist, it's not like you're listening to 40 of their songs. You might listen to 1 or 3 or whatever it is. So you're only paying, literally you're paying hundreds of dollars for only a couple songs. But it's that salesman. It's that big it's that business model where people go, why pay for one artist? Why pay $17 for a Pantera CD when you can have all of rock and roll at the palm? That's just too tempting for people, brother.
You say, but it's too good of a deal,
right? But you say, how many artists have you discovered this month? Name them. And then here's the other problem. What if you, like somebody like me, I don't listen to celebrity rock and roll. I think it stinks. Music's a matter of taste.
Yeah.
I've never liked Slipknot.
You've never liked Slipknot?
Never.
Didn't
grow up on it. Don't like it. It's not my taste. It's not my taste.
Interesting.
It's not my taste. I can't stand terrible rappers.
Fair enough.
Corey Taylor's a terrible rapper. Every time when I first heard Corey Taylor, I was a gangster rapper. I was a battle rapper. a combat gangster rapper, and you had to be smart and skillful, and you had to have cadence, and you had to have dexterity and speak fluently and have a big vocabulary, be eloquent, be assertive, and be on beat. You couldn't mumble and like the kids do now. You know what I'm saying? You had to be musical back then. One more problem: you had to be authentic.
True that.
So when hearing these guys rap like that, you know what I'm saying? Rapping terrible, you can't understand what they're talking about. Korn can't rap. That guy can't rap. What's the name there? What's the guy in Korn? He's corny as shit. He can't rap for shit. What's the name? Corey Taylor? Him? And the other guy, Linkin Park? None of them guys can rap. Not my kind of rap. I'm from the 80s. I was the only brown guy on my street. That ain't rap. I'm just keeping it real. So, you know, I think of great rappers. I don't think of Corey fucking Taylor. You know what I mean? I think of great screamers. I don't think of Korn. Jonathan Davis can't sing worth a shit. So I mean, so the point is, I didn't have the same heroes. That's all I'm saying. So you can't sell me all. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, if somebody like me is, if I get on Spotify, right? If I say, let me consider being a Spotify subscriber, let's not look at what I'm doing. Let's look at why I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. Well, I know what Spotify is going to say. They're going to say, because it's all. And I'm going to say, I don't like all. I'm going to say, join this program. Sepsiss, be in this record label. Everyone's going to like you. Well, that doesn't sound good at all. Mm-mm. I didn't get into this business to have everybody like me. Shit, you don't go to prison to make friends. Economics is a prison. Hear me out. This is a business. Mm-hmm. Are we making businesses or are we doing friends? Listen, it's a business because we have to survive on it. It's a business because we have to be fiscally responsible. Mm-hmm. I don't care if the fans understand that or not. Jonathan Davis knows what the fuck I'm talking about. So if I join Spotify, I join Spotify because I like bands like Dead by Wednesday. You hear what I'm saying? So Spotify would have to come to me and say they'd have to change their business model because I don't want all. I don't want Corey Taylor. I've never liked Linkin Park. So guys like me, you know, I'm not a hate breed fan. I don't give a shit about that. That's supposed to surprise people. So I want to hear bands like Dead by Wednesday. You know, I wanna discover bands like FDS. I want to jam out to bands like Eyes of Anguish. Mm-hmm. Parts Per Million. Mm. I want, you know, I want. I'm in music for something different. I'm not chasing around celebrities. Mm-hmm.
Facts.
I'm not in music for the dick riding game. I'm in it for the discovery and the enjoyment, and I'm in it for a whole different educational and social experience. And it has a lot more to do with like learning and discovery.
So subscribe to YouTube Premium and you can get all your favorite artists plus all your favorite, you know, how-to videos and guitar player videos.
I like that. That would be more, I'm probably more of a YouTube guy. I'm not really sure. But the main point is a lot of these premium sites and streaming DSPs and corporations, when you join, some guys like me will join for bands like Sepsiss and Carpathia. Mm-hmm. You know, somebody like me, if I joined Spotify, it would be to hear Arcantica and Trading Tombstones and discover bands like that. Problem is,
YouTube too.
Here's the problem. If I join today and I follow Trading Tombstones, Sepsiss, and Arcantica, they're not going to suggest it to me.
No.
They're going to suggest to me Corey Taylor. I don't want to hear it. So that's the thing. I've never been a fan. I'm not a kid. I'm not shaping my identity. So this being suggested music is important when you're shaping your identity. But when you're an adult and I'm looking for something specific. I'm in pursuit for a quality and a type of experience that Spotify frankly doesn't offer. So, you know, at $100 subscription a year, you can't offer me all. You got to offer me something different. because all isn't valuable to all of us.
What about a little chart that says all the bands that you liked this year? Was that worth $100?
I think there is different type of value. Like if you looked at iTunes and then you looked at Spotify and you looked at Pandora and you looked at them all separately, like looking at Threads and Facebook and all social media. I think that like Mr. Potato Head. I could take pieces off and build my own character and come up with a hybrid, awesome world that's built for William. Yep. And then everybody would hate it. Right? Because, I mean, there's certainly people. So, no, I think that there could definitely be, like, my own custom Frankenstein version of, you know, how music is streamed or whatever. But that's neither here nor there. I know that Spotify and even YouTube Music and all of them just push their prices up to the max. A lot of people are upset about that. But I don't go to companies and corporations to shape my tastes in music anymore. I think that's something that happens like when you're a kid, you know, like we had MTV and we had radio and our parents had jukeboxes and magazines and different stuff like that. Jukeboxes shaped people's identities the same way that phones do now.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? When people loved music in the 40s and 50s, it's because it was on the gadgets and the gadgets suggested it to them.
Right.
Same thing. And my time in the 80s and 90s, you found out about music on the radio and cable TV because radio and cable TV were the way that music was distributed. And then further on, you know, and of course, music at that time was also a physical thing. So in order to have physical CDs, you need a physical warehouse. You need a physical store. So it creates all these different kind of jobs.
Right.
Did you also discover them through like rummaging through like the old boxes with like cassettes in them? Like the vinyls and all of that.
Yes.
The record store.
Yes, that is not just part of hip hop culture. That's a part of being a fan of music culture. Was waiting for the Tuesday releases, everybody meeting up at the mall, you know, talking about it, getting your outfit, and everybody being in the parking lot listening to it.
Friday night after school.
That's how it was.
Yep, that was the thing.
Music, yes.
Yeah.
Music wasn't something that was suggested to you mood by mood. It's something you chose to do.
Right.
Why did we stop doing that?
So
because it's all right here.
Right, and it's happening to you now. That's the difference in taste. That's why I say when people are like, oh, they're surprised you don't like Linkin Park? No, because at the time people liked Linkin Park because that's what was suggested to them. I'm not a musician that has been. Nobody suggested A minor. I discovered it. Do you get what I'm saying? Nobody suggested guitar to me. Like, oh, you're gonna get some pussy if you play some guitar, kid. It's not what we're doing. It's why. I never played guitar to shape my identity.
Hidden Hybrid said, you heard your buddy play a Pantera hit and you had to find out about them.
He's got it. He's got it. Mm-hmm. That's it. What he just mentioned. It didn't happen to you. It was like, it was a physical human experience that your friends were involved in, your family was involved in. It was like, it wasn't just a product. Like when the Native Americans did rain dances, they didn't put it up on Pandora. They didn't monetize it. You dig?
Right.
Once you start monetizing it, it stops raining, bro.
Did you know that well, it's more like so like you can look this up. It's a real fact. There are top 40 hits in like amongst orca whales.
Yes. Yes. He's right.
Yep.
He's right. I said this the other day. And everybody thinks I'm a lunatic. But people really think I'm a lunatic when you say things like animals sing together.
Yep.
I was talking the other day, and they were like, well, music is, we're talking about ownership, and we were talking about how human beings in our species, misinterprets this entire reality as being our own, and us being kings of it, and gods of it, and best friends with God, and all this other shit, and we rule over the birds and everything. And they were like, and jewelry's ours, and precious stones are ours, and the birds are ours, and the music's ours. I said, slow down.
Whoa.
None of that shit is yours. The name of your street isn't yours.
Nope.
What your mother named you isn't yours.
It's not yours.
None of this stuff is ours. Hold on, the birds aren't ours. We're here on the planet with the planet. You
Right.
can tell whatever fairy tales and folklore or video games and anime you've been huffing all night, but to keep it 100%, the reason why I know music isn't mine is because as soon as you're done writing it, you give it away to your record label. You give it away to Spotify. You give it away to your girlfriend. You give it away to the cheapest bidder. So when musicians are like, my song, the whole point of doing is writing it to give it away. Mm. You learn the riff so other people can hear it. You draw the painting so other people can see it. The art is not yours. There's a whole nother level. There's a whole nother frequency of channel that modern music is missing out on. I'm serious. We're never going to start the show. Man, I'm so proud of this show.
It is a good show. It's the best show.
Yes. I was going to talk a lot about face ripping, but I've had a change of heart. I'm over it.
Are we going to talk about whale songs now?
I think that's what really
These
did it for me.
sound so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was trying to tell my friend after he said that the music was his. I said, did you think? I said, you think music is human beings made it up?
No. Music has been around since time itself.
It's frequency. Let's talk about what it is. It's oscillation, protons, electrons. It's vibration, guys. There's levels of vibration, radiation, frequency, and light and sound that we can't hear. Mm-hmm. Like radiation. Do you know what sight is? It's vibration. It's radiation. Go check it out. It's common knowledge. But seriously, quite literally, it's things that are oscillating. It's in and out. It's up, it's down. It's positive, it's negative. It's man, it's woman.
Light, reflection, all that.
Right, you can't have front without the back kind of thing. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's how reality all comes together. There's this and there's that. There's the stuff and then there's the space. There's the matter.
What's the matter?
What is it? And that people are always asking them, well, what is it?
It's what everything's composed of.
That's what, and then they say, but what is that? And then they look at it and they say that they'll see that it is shapes. Once you zoom into it, you'll see that there are shapes. And then you say, well, what are these shapes called? And then you'll see the things that make up the shapes. And then you'll go, well, what are those things called? And therein lies
the crystalline structure.
Well, it's only called something because somebody else a long time ago thought of a word for it.
Yes, and to do that is to develop an inside group.
From an outside
It's
group.
just a way of, naming things. It's just a way to recognize, like, microphone, cup.
Right.
Somebody thought, like, how do you refer to this thing? Cup.
Right. So when human beings can't explain something or we can't experience it, we say that it doesn't matter. Did you get that? So when we talk about matter, we talk about it in terms of what we see and what we experience. And as soon as we don't see it or we don't experience it, why do we call this matter? Because we can experience it. And as soon as we can't, we say it doesn't matter. And we say, well, that's odd. Well, if in order for it to be odd, it must be even. And therefore you have vibration.
Good vibrations.
There you have man and woman. There you have this and that. What is odd and then what is even. What matters and what doesn't. I just fucked everybody up. So in terms of music, you blow a dog whistle. A dog can hear the frequency and you can't. Mm-hmm. Bats can hear or talk through bouncing sonar off the wall. Or if you do music engineering or anything like that. Yeah.
Whale sounds can be picked up on radar.
Yeah, and so the animals in the universe has been making music forever.
I think dolphins can also talk through sonar or something like that. Some dolphin version.
Yeah, I mean, and we like to talk about it a lot, but we're not really sure what the animals and the other organisms can and can't do. We kind of just guess a little bit. But what we do know is like some of the oldest thinkers on the planet are fungus. Fungus is some of the oldest kind of organism. Fungus is an organism, if anybody didn't know that. And many different varieties and versions of this organism. But if for those who don't know, there are many different fungus that are responsible for thinking patterns. That's why you can eat mushrooms and go to the moon. You know what I mean?
Gio said dolphins use echolocation like bats.
Yo, that's fucking nuts.
I knew they were connected somehow.
I do that same thing. Like when I'm in the other room and Melissa can't hear me, I go, Melissa! And I go, Lexi!
There is a slight echo.
Hear that? Then we find each other that way.
Oh, I heard it. It was right in my ear.
So, which reminds me, when standing next to me, wear your eargasm earplugs. In fact, if you were to buy a set of your very own eargasm earplugs today and use promo code SEPSISBAND, one word in all caps, SEPSISSBAND, you can also own yourself and save your hearing with eargasm earplugs.
They also have stuff for kids.
What's the fucking thing? And they have stuff for kids. They're in somebody's ear. We've got to start this. So, Swarmy charts. You guys, I'm going to go over the Swarmy charts. Because I told her I was going to do it. So
this week's Swarmy charts is fire sauce times 10.
And we're doing Swarmy charts from here on out. We're doing it every time.
So if it's fire sauce times 10, is that Diablo sauce times 5?
Yes.
Nice.
You guys are confusing me.
Swarmy charts.
Dude, can I just say, I hate Spotify, but we have more plays on Spotify every time I talk shit about them.
And our Swarmies have really good music taste.
I know. So everybody,
you guys have really good music taste on Spotify.
There was a band that got mad at me the other week. They're like, "How come I'm not on the fucking charts?" I'm like, "I didn't make the.
Whoa!
I didn't make the.
Whoa!
All the New England kicked at me. I'm like, "Let's shot." No, I don't make these charts up. It's on Spotify.
One of the many other things that Spotify recommends to you is
cheap
things that people listen to,
yes.
as well as your band.
Yeah, and Zach asked me an important question. He's like, "But don't you like the manufactured images at the end of the year that Spotify makes everybody look good? Isn't that helpful?" No, it's not. Because companies of that size do not need to encourage bands to lie, cheat, and steal. The problem with those images is iTunes don't have them. So, the reason why iTunes doesn't blow up bands at the end of the year, because they know what we all know, and that's the most people that make up for independent music on all of these sites have never had 5 plays. You see what I'm saying? But Spotify knows this. Spotify knows that musicians will trample over each other for follows and views. In fact, I just read this awesome article on how all of these companies have built up their entire careers on monthly available users. It's a metric that literally can't be counted because people don't do anything for a month. So basically, it's like saying that if you have 1,000 monthly active users, you're more likely to get chosen for Blue Ridge. But artists that know that can affect those numbers when they need them to. Mm-hmm. So big corporations have a deal with lying artists because liars
are buyers. And
they know that people that are willing to lie they're willing to buy their views.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Right. So what they did, they created an entire culture of musicians who, it doesn't matter what their skill level is, as long as they're willing to buy it, as long as they're willing to cheat. Those are the prospects for big corporations and companies, because they know that they're willing to cheat and fuck with the metrics along with them. As people go, Spotify, they fuck with the metrics. They allow people to have playlists, and they allow people to do that. And the people that they allow to do that are the people that they recruit. You know what I mean? Like, so if you're in a criminal organization, you don't want to hire choir boys. If you're in a criminal organization, you want to hire other criminals that are willing to lie, cheat, and steal. So Spotify and other large criminal companies like them that have convinced consumers that it's okay to steal, if they can convince the consumers it's okay to steal, and they can convince the artists that it's okay to rob, then they make a nice image for you at the end of the year so you can reward yourself and recruit more people with it.
Well, they just learned that from like EA and all the other video game companies, where it's like you can play the game and work and unlock things, or you can just buy and unlock all these characters.
That's it. It's a game. Spotify's a video game. Yeah. It's not, and it is it's like a never-ending DLC. It's a never-ending, and that's what I mean about the monthly active users. That's why they have that. If you made it daily active users, you really start to change the game. If talent buyers and managers and people could watch what's happening with artists day to day, 72 hours over 72 hours, you'd see a big difference in the way that people get hired. And that's why iTunes doesn't have an annual reward system to brag and boast the numbers. Spotify does that is because they're recruiting and they're encouraging the most thirsty and desperate people that work hard. They don't celebrate long, bro. No. They just don't. When people ask all the time, what was it like to win the awards? And we're like, the what? It's like when we won those awards, by the next day we didn't give a shit.
Right, because you're already working on the next
right thing. So somebody that's excited about what Spotify has achieved is in it for the wrong reasons. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because people will be excited to show off a Spotify number, but you don't see nothing about their iTunes numbers.
How many tickets do they sell at their last show?
And therein lies the crystalline structure.
Because you can inflate your numbers on iTunes.
Right. They ain't not going to do it. iTunes doesn't have a poster at the end of the year showing off that you can inflate their numbers. Because they're not recruiting for that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? There's no programs. There's no playlisting. There's no supervisors that are willing to cheat and put up Apple's reputation. Apple's not going to put their reputation up to cater to fucking rap music. iTunes is not going to put up their reputation to cater to independent artists. In fact, it's quite the opposite. If you look at what Apple's doing, their business model is focusing on artists that sound better, have better quality. Whereas you see these SoundCloud winner come all, everybody's an artist, everybody's a creator, everybody's a podcaster, everybody's,
not on iTunes.
Everybody's a public figure, everybody's a...
But not on iTunes.
But not on iTunes, you're not.
Nope.
So, that's that. Bullet to the Heart is the #1 band on the Swarmy charts.
Whoa!
And I'll tell you what, this next band, so I didn't make any of these. The Swarmy charts are a Spotify chart that Spotify has made based on our Spotify listeners and what they listen to. So if you go and listen to Bullet to the Heart, for instance, you may not find some of these other bands, but you're going to find other cool bands that Bullet to the Heart's fan base listens to. Mm-hmm. So we've had some bands on here before that our fans just love, but there were like bands that were upset that our fans liked them.
I remember this.
That we had like a couple bands that were like, I don't want to be on your chart. And we're like, we didn't make the chart. They're like, take us off the chart.
We didn't.
And I'm like, I can't take it's Spotify, dude. I said, you'd have to take your Spotify down. I can't do that. He's like, they're like, that's disrespect. And I'm like, you guys always stick up for Spotify and say how great Spotify is. Spotify puts you on the Sepsiss list, and I share it so my fans can become your fan, and you want me to remove it, and I can't. So if you are a band on this list and you don't want to be on this list, I don't care. All right.
Hans sent 50 stars. Thank you.
Hans? Why are you sending us this?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. We need papers. Oh no, we got some. Hans is the man. Let's get ready for game night. So we got to get through some of this. So the second band, and I want to say this particular band has never fallen below number 5 ever in the history of the Swarmy charts.
Whoa.
We love them.
That's a huge thing. That's dope.
We love them. We'll cook dinner for them. I would go outside and play an acoustic version of my favorite song of theirs, Lying to Yourself. If you didn't like this band, you're lying to yourself.
Hey!
One of my favorite bands, Roses on Red.
Boom.
Yeah.
I love them. They're so good. They're like one of those bands that are a lot overly better than the music industries. I don't like the music industries. I like whatever they do. Here's another band that came out of nowhere. They wound up on the Swarmy charts, and they just won't go away. I love them so much. Agbat.
What?
I don't know how they did it. It's just like they came into our lives, and that's where they're at.
That's cool.
Let's listen to that when we get off.
Agbat.
You know what we should do? We should amp up the old amp and do a broadcast.
And play all the songs in the Swarmy
Dude,
charts?
yes. These next bands are crazy.
Let's go.
So this next band is on fire.
Woo!
They're everywhere. I like how all the bands on the Swarmy charts are kicking the fuck out of everybody right now.
Kicking ass.
On America, found a bow cow, round about bow, living dead girl, found a meow. Yeah, living dead girl.
Oh.
Living dead girl is number 4.
Nice.
I like when she wears that one top. It's a big, nice top.
It shows a lot of big, nice tops.
Okay. The next one is Falsey, your favorite.
Yes! I love her! I love her so much. I'm sorry. She is such a great
Dude, have you ever
screamer.
seen... Yeah, no, I know. Lexi's a huge fan.
She's such a great screamer, yo.
No, you know who they remind me of, like a... I feel like we could do like a double band song with them.
Ooh. Collab?
Wow.
You know what I mean? Dude, just because it's like the way they dress and the way they are, they just seem like some crazy motherfuckers.
They're fucking awesome.
You know, like some people find us on the eyes and they're just like, "What's going on here?" That's how I saw them. I was like, "What's going on?"
Huh.
We have to show you them. They're so.
There's a ton of awesome metal bands out there, and they're just super predictable. You get it, they're right to the point, and they're super good, and that's that. But these guys are super good, but there's so many twists and turns in it. We were like, it's almost like that reaction from old buddy when he's like, "I know the breakdown's coming. I know the breakdown's coming, and I guess I didn't need it."
You didn't need one at all.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was the top 5.
That's top 5?
Now, yes. Now, number 6
Is.
and number 7 are no strangers to the Swarmy charts.
Oh.
They're always on the Swarmy charts. Can anybody guess who the next number 6 is?
Fate Destroyed.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's not fair. I have it up right now.
Oh, that's fucking bullshit.
That's cheating, man.
Right.
That's fucking.
I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna make Zachy B stickers, and we're gonna stick them at McDonald's.
Ooh.
No, come on. Tell me that's not fucking dope.
You're not ready for it.
Come on.
You're not ready for it.
Dude. I'm starting to think, you know, we need new stickers. Ones with my, like, faces on them now. Ooh. We need to get personal. Because if people keep ripping my stickers down, I want them to look in my eyes before they do it.
Yo, that's a bar!
Yo, cause
I'm writing that
they don't got the guts to rip the stickers down in front of me in person. So I'm gonna start seriously, I'm gonna make die cut William stickers. Like this. Say it to my face. Fucking coward. All right. Anybody that's ripped down a Sepsiss sticker this year is a fucking coward. And I'm buying more stickers. If you got something you need to say, don't fake beef with my girlfriend of the band.
It's all fun and games.
Say it to me.
It's all fun and games until someone puts on the Zachy B pasties.
I'm trying to tell you something. Ooh. What does that mean?
Don't ask questions you don't
Listen, no, seriously though. Seriously though. Don't fake role play beef with my girlfriend's band. Anybody that has anything to say to me should come to a show or see me on the street. I'm a very approachable guy.
Hans wants his own sticker.
Don't. You know why people can't pretend to have a problem with Melissa Wolf?
Why is that?
Because she's one of the most kindest, generous, gentlest person I've ever met in my life. Aww. I'm serious. I don't like when people pretend to argue with you because it's like they just really want to argue with me in person. So just skip the bullshit. All right. So the next is, of course, my absolute favorite, Eternal Frequency, who I have on my personal playlist. Octavate, who's seems to be, I think this is the second time for Octavate. Oh. And let's keep it real. Ever since your birthday party, this one band has remained on the Swarmy chart, and that's why they have returned. I've got to stop hitting the table because the microphone can hear it on the podcast.
Sure can.
I noticed that the last time we did a playback, and all I can hear is me do it.
You're doing it again.
I know. I'm doing that, so I'll never do it again. But this band has been so successful. In the last year and a half, I just see them. I've seen so much growth in this band on stage, off stage, the music videos. Their drummer is, blitzkrieg insane. The vocalist is crazy, unique, and beautiful and awesome. The guitar player is crafty, intellectual, very smart music, kick-ass band, and proud New England alumni Carpathia, dude. I'm happy to have them on the Swarmy charts because there's no other New England bands on here but Carpathia, dude.
They're also on Swarmiefest.
Well, I was just about to say that's why we had to have them at Swarmiefest. Because the fans have spoken. This is about rock and roll, man. This is what the fans were one for. And hey, that's another thing. You know when you're ripping down stickers, you're hurting all the fans that used to love you?
Didn't even think of that.
You know what I'm saying? When you rip down a Sepsiss sticker, it's like you're also ripping down Zachy B. He's, you know what I'm saying? He's never done nothing to nobody. You're also ripping down all the friends and fans and family that love being here. The key takeaway is it's okay not to like William. But that's no reason to rip down a sticker. Don't forget all those the people that represent that Sepsiss star. It's not just Lexi. It's not just me. Right? So maybe you don't like my guitar riffs, and that's boo-hoo for you. But there's a whole other band here So, when you go and destroy somebody's property or rip something down or go out of your way to get that kind of attention, it's misguided because you're doing it in secret. And none of the people I just mentioned have ever done anything to hurt you, so don't be a dick. I want to say this correctly, so I'm going to have Lexi do it instead. What is this one?
Oh, 5 rand.
Oh, excuse me?
5 rand.
What?
5 rand.
Slow it down a bit.
5 rand. 5 rand.
5 rand.
They're from Italy.
Right, you know this.
I listen to them.
I know you do. That's why I'm trying. That's what you were my independent rock and roll specialist. You're the only person in the world.
Sent 1,000 stars.
Woo!
Hold up. I got something for
Fucking around, we might have to put that on the album.
Putting it on the album.
Agate.
Fan out.
Agate.
She was like, that's how you do it.
Woo! That's heavy. Yeah, that fucking rocks.
Thank you for the love.
So, I think that's fucking awesome. And Forever May Fall. Back on the, this is crazy. Mesmerize. ODC. My homegirl and our friends and family, Mag Dillon. On the motherfucking Swarmiefest. I hope they're watching.
Oh.
I feel like we're related to them.
Yeah.
False Memories.
Ooh.
Every time I see their name, though, I think, Dead Memories. I don't know. Shout out to the homeboys. Yeah. Yo, man, this band is so awesome.
Oh.
Now, there's always like these rumors about the bigger bands being dinks. Because people say that about a lot of people, like the big bands are dinks and they don't like the little bands and stuff like that. That's not always true. Because this next band is much bigger than we are and they're awesome. And they are on the Swarmy charts. Shout out to the band Kaleido.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It just means our fans have really great taste.
Really
she has such nice hair.
And a beautiful voice.
Yes. People say that stuff to Melissa all the time. Like,
she has
yeah, but they say things like you have nice hair. You know what I mean? And they also mean they also mean that she has a nice voice. They all see.
And they bump it together.
Right. If you didn't know any better, and people explained this to me before. I said, "So what do you mean? You don't like my guitar playing?" They say, "No, your guitar playing is just obviously good. We figured we'd tell you we like your hair also."
On top of it.
Right. They say your guitar playing is good enough. We thought you knew already. Smart motherfuckers, right? They really recovered. So yeah, Kaleido, Secret Rule, who I love. Everybody knows I love them. Stitched Up Heart.
Oh.
They seem to just creep back on there. They do got those cool new songs though. Yeah. Gago gig, gago gig, gago gaga, lot of boom. The Homeboys, Dead Reckoning, and I don't see why they wouldn't be on there.
They're on the list. Don't forget about them.
When I think of Gallows every time. When I think of their records, I just hear the Gallows riff.
To be honest, I usually think of like Pawns or something, like the beginning of
That's
Gallows.
That's because you're an OG. I'm like I started really getting in like during the Gallows era. Yeah. And equally fantastically dressed. Arguably as the Miss Melissa Wolf herself, If there's anybody that was as well dressed, I would say this next band. Look at Melissa. She's on the edge of her seat. Our friends, September Morning. And that's the Swarmy chart. That's who. So yes, again. So we'll do this next week or next year. But for now, we'll continue to post it as we have been because we think it's fun. Me and Melissa don't post them when they haven't changed much. Like that's no fun.
Right.
So if sometimes we don't do it, I've had one or two people, not a bunch, but like one or two people ask before, like, what's up with the fucking Swarmy charts? Sometimes it's boring. You know, it's like nothing happened. You know what I mean?
You guys didn't listen to music or something.
Well, here's the thing. It has more to do with us. We don't have a lot of fans on Spotify.
Oh.
So it's not anybody's fault. We have like the least amount of music fans in music known to music.
That's cool. We still have dope charts.
However, each and every play that we have is real. Mm. We don't buy any stuff. So I thought you guys would have fun with that. That's it. There was an awesome group post. I'm going to try to locate it quickly. I hope you guys do more of this. I really love it when you do it. I gotta give a big shout out to our friends in Exile, the Icon, and I wanna just show you guys how powerful and important the Swarm group is on Facebook and why that this is important. We're approaching 15,000 16,000 people in there. Again, our group is organic. We don't have a lot of silly people in there playing games. It's one of the only groups of its size on Facebook made by a band, not about a band. So, like, bands have big groups, but the groups are about the band.
Yeah.
I don't ever want the Swarm to be about the band. Me and Melissa have a very determined, like, vision of how we hope to continue to experience the network and tools on especially like meta products because they allow us to have customization, you know what I mean? And they allow us to give people badges and mods and, you know, it's just a nice way of everybody being able to. So the bands automatically get expert badges when they come in. So if you're a band and you join the Swarm, you automatically come in as an expert. We're always trying to hook people up with mods and like people to impact. The more you dive into the group, the more you talk in the group, the more you participate in the group, the more me and Melissa will see you. And anyone's welcome to reach out if you want to be a mod or you want to participate more in the group. You might just be shy. But we're very approachable in that sense. If you want like a badge that says Swarmy, we'll give you one. You know what I mean? If you're into like keeping the group clean, we have like a Swarm Commander badge so people can go around and just like, you know, protect some of the more quiet or shy people in the group or encourage people who might not have the confidence. Our group is about building confidence. Our group is about being safe. We really wanted to create a place, a safe space online where people could just share music. And there's the only thing that you can't do in there is be an asshole. Like you literally can't. That's the only rule in there is you can't lower the quality of the room. Like with so if you know what I mean, like you know arguments or you know too much on like you won't have any type of like separate or like lifestyle issues. You know, people can be who they want to be. You know, if you're black or you're gay or you're there for music or you're there just for reading or you know maybe you don't speak great English. We get so many different type of people in there, and it was just this place where we want it to be reflective of the world. You know, when you go out into the world, you don't get to say what you hear, what you see, what you smell, you know what I mean. We want it to be a place where you know the egos, you know, we're running on transparent. It's a come as you are, live and let live kind of place. And for some reason we've got the greatest people in the world keeping us together. So but I've really wanted to see more of this Exile the Icon says, I have a random question for the bands in here. How important is image for a rock band standpoint? On stage, approach, appearance, wardrobe, and stage. Yo.
That's a great question.
Yo, it's a great question. 46 fat, buttery answers. And I'm just want to get like the cool part about this. Look at what now. You know how social media is not really a text-based planet anymore. Look at the.
You can't really.
It's all right. It's all right. I just want to show them how thick the sentences are.
There you go.
I wanted just to show you how thick the text is that everybody puts. So the reason why I want to show you that is because this isn't people that just had a thing or two to say.
No, they really thought
This is people that really went through and took the time. Wow. Maybe, Lex, you want to read a couple of those? I just thought they were great.
So Dan says, every band is different. Mine always wears shirts and ties to match the color of our instruments. It's That's a simple awesome. Aesthetic choice that sticks out from the usual style of most rock and metal bands in the area.
Love it. I love that. I love the fact that they know what they're doing, too.
Nair says, I'm theoretical, but the rest of the band basically doesn't have an image. The music speaks for itself, but my performance is what sets us apart from most.
Oh, so I like that, though. That's like where the front person is, like, special, or the front person stands out from the other guys. I think that's cool, too. That's another take on it.
Mr. George says, honestly, nothing. The music should speak for itself. Get a light show. If I do a show again, it would be nothing but a light show or some visual.
I think those are all good comments.
Right?
How about a couple more, just for fun?
Okay.
There's 41 comments.
Mr. Kurt Miller says presentation is 90% of the package.
Dude, I'm blown away on how many bands are saying this.
Yep. Presentation, folks. Presentation is 90% of the package.
10 years ago, you could never get bands to admit this. 10 years ago, I'm telling you, you'd have never got... It was all black t-shirts. There was only one look when we came in.
I got one look. And he goes on to further say, being tight as a band, showmanship, professionalism, these things go just as far. It's great. Vic Rector says, the song is the most important, but if you really want them to remember you, put on a show, all the bells and whistles.
He said more is more. I like him. He's like, he went for that more is more philosophy. I did.
Want to read one more?
Let's do one more, because they were all really good.
Justin Rowe says, not as important as the music. Actually caring about the music you make will sell more records than an image ever will. If all you focus on is image and fame, don't scratch your head wondering why no one is buying your music. That's an interesting, different take on it.
You know what? I don't think any of those are wrong. You want to know why? Because most of those guys, because the question was presented towards bands, and all of those folks are in bands, and they are all, and bands are businesses. They're all currently running their own lemonade stands, and they're saying what's working for them.
That's dope.
Man, so I don't know if you guys are in the Swarm group, but if you're in a band or you're a promoter, this is how we envisioned this group to be. Like, when I see this is what when me and Melissa made this group, this is our dream. We hoped that people would be using this group for. I'm so happy that you guys have figured this out. I'm so happy that seriously, man, it's a major fucking win. It shows that even through all the noise and everybody saying that how bands don't work together and how we'll never unify, and this is a direct, hard piece of evidence why that's a load of shit. This is why we created the group. so we could mutually respect our investment, so we could have a place where we could mutually respect goals and share education together in a way that wasn't hateful or putting people down. Nobody was against anybody in this. Everybody had a variety of... Nobody said, hey, man, that sucks, or you got a bad idea. Thank you to everybody in the Swarm for allowing this to be such a cool fucking place to represent what me and Melissa really, truly believe that rock and roll can be. A place where everybody can have a voice.
Hell yeah.
Dog, that's crazy, right?
So if you haven't joined Sepsiss the Swarm, you might need to do that right now.
This is great. This is great. Not the money, all the money in the world couldn't beat that. Because, you know, we had a vision for that group 3 years ago. And everybody was like, it's never going to work. It's never going to work. And we were like, give it time, you know?
And now it's a big group with question forums, like Quora. It's fucking dope.
And I love how everybody in there takes care of each other. Mm-hmm. One cool thing you know about Sepsiss is that one bad thing you know about sexists are one good thing. It's too hot in here. My mind is just not in the right place today. Or maybe that is the right place. Right.
I love this podcast.
Live TV's a motherfucker. Who knows what it'll say next? So, one thing you'll know about our sexist group is that we like sex. Or we wouldn't be here. The group Sepsiss the Swarm is really good because most people that hate our fucking guts won't be in it. And if they are, they're usually very quiet. So the cool part about the group is everyone is nice to each other because we'll throw them out. Okay. Enough about sex. Let's get to the reaction videos. Scotty B reacts. Relax. Sex. So his name is Scotty B. And I was pissed. I said, what the fuck? I said, you can't be Scotty B. That's Zachy B.
We're related.
My mind has been blown. So, Scotty B reacted to me, Melissa W, and Zachy B. And we WB'd all over the place. That sounds real nasty. Now look, I was worried because this guy looked like a hardcore dude. I mean, he had the tats and the fucking muscles and everything. I said, oh, Jesus. Usually people with tattoos and muscles can't stand my music because we start singing. As soon as we start singing, people are like, what the fuck?
Clean vocals.
Right. Right. But here's the reason why we do a lot of clean vocals. It's because everyone else is screaming. Mm. I do like how they gave me props on the screams in the songs, though.
Mm.
That was
Those were killer screams.
Because it's hard to make screams pretty. Mm. Like, if I'm screaming, I have to scream over Melissa's note. So we have to make them go together somehow. Try to do that.
It's difficult.
It's got to blend.
Right. Mm. That's really difficult to do. It took me years to figure out how to do that. I got to go with her. I can't, like, she doesn't sing to my screaming. Mm. Like, she sings to the song, and then I got to try to figure something out. But I wanted to say thank you to Scotty B. And let's find the other guy there, because he's fucking dope, man. I just want to make sure I got the names right, because we got to do that.
Right.
Oh, so the other reacting channel is called The Bottom Line. Mm-hmm. So Scotty B reacts, and the other that we got today is one called The Bottom Line. So guys, we put them up. The reason why I put this up, and the reason why I'm talking about it is not because of me. They already like my video. They already like my music, and I'm super excited about that. I love that they love my music. Bands, I'm talking to you. The reason why I'm telling you this is because people spend, we spend, bands spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for PR companies and publicists and, people on the networks to go hunt down stuff like that.
Yep.
When you if you join a record label, you got a management team, you're paying them money, $300 to $3,000 a month. That's typical for management companies. If you guys didn't know, anywhere from $300 to $3,000 a month for your management team. This is the stuff they should be doing.
Yep.
So if you notice the beginning of the videos, they say, Melissa Wolf contacted me, or William contacted me, or Lexi hit me up. You guys, that means that we're out there doing this work on our own. So 2 things. It means that we're doing it on our own, which means you can on your own, and you don't need to pay a manager or a fancy label to do this. And the other thing that it means is we've already done the work for you. So you don't need to worry about your manager, or you don't need anybody, because Melissa's already been your manager today. She's already went out and gotten 2 reaction channels for you already that were so excited about our music, they started talking about how fun it would be to listen to more bands.
Right.
That's the fucking role that we hope Sepsiss would play in the music industry. That is the same thing that we hope to accomplish in the group. So when people ask what our mission statement is, I just explained it to you. Proving to all of you guys that together we are stronger, that fans make up the industry. That the bands, the musicians, and the fans make up the music industry. We don't need no middlemen. So bands don't need to hate on each other. If bands are watching this right now, go check out Scotty B Reacts and go show him your music video so he can react to yours like he did ours. And we didn't pay him no money for that. It's just a matter of being assertive and getting out there and showing your music to people and being brave. Don't skulk around in the darkness. Don't create shortcuts or try to cheat your way through it. Read up on how to make a formal email. Cross your T's, dot your I's, and always treat people the way that you want to be treated. I know that's not too much to ask. So check out the bottom line too, because I was really excited. Oh. Shout out to Pepper Gomez. Thank you, Pepper. She was like, yo, I got some these dope pics. She got these like wake up music rocks. Pepper Gomez is curator and representative for Wake Up Music Rocks. Nice people. Nice. Yeah. Very good people, and friends of Sepsiss. Yeah, I want some pics, Pep. Yes, I do. So that is that. I thought I was gonna. We have so much stuff. This is never gonna happen. I've got the best show in the world, but it's never gonna happen because it was all good. So I was told the other day about AI photos, and somebody said to me, "You guys better stop using those AI photos." And I said, "Why is that, son?" And he said, "Because they're gonna steal your identity, Will." I said, "Did you know I did 15 years in state prison?" You don't want to steal my identity. Anybody that wants to steal my identity, I finished a 12-year state prison sentence in 2000. What was a while ago. But you definitely don't want to become me. But you might be able to be on stage with Zachy B and the wonderful Melissa Wolf if you did. So these folks that are worried about using their AI images online, I know what you're saying. Saying Melissa used her AI images and reposted them for people to comment on early on when AI first came out, the images came out, and there was all this stuff like Russia's gonna get you, and Santa Claus is coming to town, and all these other characters.
Is he? It's a little early in the year.
Well, well, I tell you, he's not coming if you're Muslim. He's not coming if you have to spin the dreidel. Santa Claus only comes for certain things. It's just like the fucking Tooth Fairy. The Tooth Fairy doesn't go to everybody's house. Tooth Fairy only goes to people's houses that got money.
True that.
Right, if you're poor, you just get to knock your teeth out. That's it.
I don't even know what a tooth fairy
Right, nobody gives you any bread for it. Right, there's no fairies come.
Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
Why do you guys are asking me why I knew this, okay? Because my son is 22 years old. When he was 10 years old, he knocked out all of his adult teeth.
Huh.
True story. He was running up the steps. And he was excited. We just got like some new video game thing. It was a total party. He didn't mean to do it, but it's true. He's a big kid. He used to play football and shit. It's just, he was coming up the stairs, lost his footing. I mean, and it was just the steps and all of his big weight. And, I mean, all of his teeth, all of them. I mean, complete. And I picked them up. I collected them off the back deck. Just little pieces of teeth, and I collected them all. And in prison, they teach you to put your teeth in milk. If you get your teeth knocked out, because you can't just go to the doctor,
Right.
You gotta wait till the morning, or not at all.
Now they have emergency dental surgeons available.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That they didn't have that then. I mean,
No.
I
Now they do.
That's incredible. This kid got his whole teeth. I mean, all of them. And if it wasn't for me picking up them teeth and putting them in milk, they put all his teeth back together. But But they used pieces of his real teeth, and like that's how they were able to. I forgot where I was going with that. But anyways, brush your teeth. Oh, so about the AI thing, yeah. So we've been getting like so many people being like concerned, like they're going to steal Melissa's voice. That's the thing I've heard lately. Don't use AI, they're going to steal our voices. But the thing is like, think of how easy that would be anyway. You could just have a phone call with somebody on the phone, record the phone call, and just steal their voice. And they said, well, don't, Sepsiss, whatever you do, don't use any AI because they're going to steal your identity. And I explained how successful you would be if you were to accomplish that with me.
I was going to say, I'm thousands of dollars in debt, so they can have my identity.
That's what I mean. Like, how bad do you want to be?
Right?
You got to really know the person you want to be.
You ain't getting a loan with my name, I'll tell you that.
That's what I mean. Like, do you really know the person you want to be? Like, just picking the wrong person is going to set off red flags.
Right?
And here's the other thing. It never dawned on anybody. It's like, if they wanted to poison you, they put it in the toothpaste.
Right?
All these people come up with diabolical shit. It's like that. We were talking a couple weeks ago that not in my backyard shit, and now about cameras and surveillance, and 20 years ago we were all arguing about privacy, and now we're just dying to show ourselves.
Right.
The selfies,
Well, I was gonna say, people are worried about AI taking over. Your fucking phone will, if you have facial recognition, they already have it.
Right.
This isn't anything new.
And you can take somebody's picture off a line. I mean, I can go get a picture.
I was gonna say,
I can go get a picture of Ronald Reagan and run it through AI.
Right.
I mean, that's not going to save the. So the thing is, I guess the key takeaway is, guys, I wouldn't worry about AI. You go to the DMV.
Right.
You just bought a bag of weed from Carlos. Everybody knows where you live. So, you see what I'm saying? Like, there's all this anxiety about people knowing what you do, or what you jerk off to, or what kind of cereal you eat. But you're not that important. Nobody really wants to be you. I love these people who are like, people are going to try to assume my identity. Like, fucking you? If anybody was going to be anybody, right? Who would they be? Who would you be if you could be somebody? Because I tell you, who?
Me.
What What a shocker.
I would want to be me.
You would never want to be anyone else because you'd have to learn how to wipe your ass all over again. Think about it. You'd have to learn how to floss every nook and cranny. You don't want to be anybody because you don't know what they've been doing in private.
And
because
also, you don't know what they think about.
I was about to say, there's you. There's the William that we all know. There's the William that I try to get you guys to know. So there's the William that you guys all see at home. That's not very accurate. You guys only see me for an hour or so on this program. And then after that, so whatever you see on this program, you're going to say, I like that guy, I don't like that guy. And it's all going to be based on this program. It's not going to be based on anything outside of the program. People who know me through being online or being in Sepsiss, that's all they know with me on here.
Right, it's called a parasocial relationship, and it's one way, and it's ultimately destructive.
But people online watch me for an hour a couple times on the internet and think that that is the same thing as being in my personal life. And if you're online enough in someone's scroll, they see you enough where they believe they have a right to know what you do personally. And they see you so often, they imagine that they know who you are and what you do when the camera's off. It's fucking insane. So, the point is, everybody, the key takeaway is, once you put something online, you might as well it's like a tattoo. It's there forever. So, you know what I mean? If the DMV uploads your image online, what are you worried about AI for? See, because AI has to lead back to a supervisor.
Yep.
Every vending machine leads back to a supervisor. There's a human supervisor at the end of the cord.
Yep. Yeah, someone who's got to plug in the next server, or upload the data to the cloud. Or
at very least, it's electronic. When the lights go out,
well, somebody who's got to program it.
The supervisor.
Yep.
So we were just talking about how Time Warner just inked a major deal with TikTok, and TikTok's got this enormous new AI e-commerce. Everyone's doing everything sites now. It's not social media, it's just everything. So, TikTok is going to become e-commerce. It's a record label now. They have straight up record distribution services.
No shit.
Yeah. You heard it here first. So guys, I'm not really worried about AI using my image. Because one time they put me in the newspaper and they said a whole bunch of bad shit about me. And they dropped the charges on me and never said, I'm sorry. So AI, nothing. People will say whatever they want about you and then they won't.
Right.
People will do whatever they want and then they don't. So we've always been mimicking and copying and stealing art and images. The biggest acceptably stolen piece of art that comes to mind is the remix. The remix is the mixtape. Mixtape, remember? Now, nobody wants to talk about it now, because now we're in the time of streaming and post. But look, you guys remember the mixtape? Those of you that are my age and did cassettes, you fucking stole music.
I had mix CDs.
You go, you go on, you go listen to your favorite radio station. You press the pause button, you wait for the song to come on, you unpause it, you fucking let it play until the DJ is about to talk, and then you fucking pause it again. Yeah. And you steal all the music off the radio, and now you got 120 minutes of your favorite radio songs, and you didn't pay for them. Stealing music is not new.
No.
Stealing people's identities is not new. Lying about creatures and gods and goblins and aliens and fucking, that's not new either. We've been doing this shit forever.
I miss LimeWire.
Yeah. So in my time, they used to do these LimeWire parties.
Yeah?
Yeah, he fired the DJ. Everybody was pissed.
Huh. Makes sense.
It's back in the day. There used to be these people. I'm not trying to be fresh, but for the folks at home, before Spotify, before automated messaging, there were these guys called disc jockeys.
Disc jockey?
Yeah, that's DJ.
Yeah.
When you hear like DJ Clue, they might not though.
Oh yeah, that's true. We're talking
a different time now. Yeah, so a lot of people don't know what VJ means. It's when they had videos.
Yeah.
We don't do music videos anymore.
I forget what it stands for. I assume
video jockey, but they used to have presenters.
Yeah, on like MTV and shit when there was actually M on TV.
Right. So unlike Spotify, if you were at the gym working out and Sepsiss came on, and it was on the radio, it would say, lead singer Melissa Wolf is going to be in town, and she's got a cool clothing line, whatever. There'd be some information to go along, and up next is
they just announced Swarmiefest 2 coming to Club Jewel right down the road.
So now, because everything is suggested and everything is just in a playlist somewhere, when something does come on, you don't have the same type of education in the experience. There's less of a reason to get behind something that you just discovered. So, in terms of that, a lot of great music goes unsaved.
Spotify actually has a AI DJ now.
Well, anybody can upload your image, and anybody's a DJ now.
Yep.
Don't worry about people uploading your image. I'd be worried about the adults uploading children's images before I was worried about... Like, if people were worried about images online, why don't we tackle, like, protecting kids first?
Right.
Not, like, music and clout. Like, in terms of protecting human beings online, forget about music for a second. Forget about Hollywood. Forget about wars and politics. Why, as collectively, as adults, globally, I think that we can all, whether you're Democrat, whether you're black, whether you're a rocker, whether you're a rapper, if I said, in the globe, put your hand up if you believe in protecting children. Put your hand down if you think it's a good idea to expose children.
Wait, what?
The whole point is like this.
It's a bad idea to expose children.
Yeah, no, don't expose children.
Right. So hear me out. So, and the reason why I'm showing y'all that is because if you ask everybody globally, if you say, should we protect children? Put your hands up. Everybody goes like this. But if you go, should we not protect children? Everybody goes, I don't know if that's a great idea. I feel like we should be protecting children. Now, how do we have all these other arguments about protecting the rights of adults and the rights of e-commerce and the rights of music and the rights of this and the rights of, when we have not even protected the children? We've not spent any time making the internet a safe place for young human beings to be.
No, the most they do is just, all right, kids, when you're online, don't talk to strangers, but, we're not going to do any more than that.
You know what I mean? I feel like, our brains are still developing, well into our late 20s usually. Mm-hmm. I think maybe now. Sometimes I feel like we're all a work in progress, man. But, there are some kids that watch The Exorcist, and wet the bed for the rest of their lives. And there are some kids that look at it and go, hey, man, what's the big deal? You kind of want somewhere in the middle. You don't want somebody watching The Exorcist and being like, oh, yeah, this is fucking hot. And you also don't want somebody who's wet in the bed. Speaking of The Exorcist Believer ramps up its new franchise in a terrifying new trailer. Did you see it?
The new trailer?
Yeah.
I don't like horror movies.
You don't like horror movies?
No.
Was it bloody?
I was traumatized as a kid, so.
Really?
Yeah.
About what? Exorcist?
No.
What was the scariest movie that traumatized you?
Well, I'm not going to say that online.
Oh, man. That's
a secret. You got to pay money to find that information out. 500
stars to learn Zach's deepest, darkest fears. You can up
I'm still to this day terrified that that specific character is just gonna appear out of nowhere and fucking kill me.
Ooh.
Who is it? The world may never know.
Mike Myers?
No, I don't give. Austin Powers?
Mike Myers.
Yeah, he was in Austin Powers. He was also in Wayne's World.
He was in Wayne's World?
Yeah.
Oh, the actor. Yeah, that took me a second. Oh, shit.
Florida Chipotle goes viral after numerous Yelp reviews claim the employees had seduced their husbands. Let me start that one over. Florida Chipotle. Imagine you going to Chipotle and there's these baddies and they're just like, hey.
Would you like a burrito?
Right.
Well, yes.
Right. Right.
That's why
Everybody's in there spreading it on and unwrapping tacos.
I want to ask a question, but I can't.
So, I'm not going to go too much into this. But the location is at Fort Myers. So anybody that's at Fort Myers, let me tell you something. Now, if we were reading this right now, and this was in Manchester, you'd know we'd be going down to Manchester Chipotle and covering this.
Obviously.
Yes.
Like
I'd be there right now.
We definitely go eat there and do
sure.
a road to the swarm down there.
Yeah.
Because there's guaranteed to be some good footage.
Hey, you can tell a lot about a lover based on how they eat. Dude,
no, I'll tell you what, man. I had to put my brother in the car for that shit. We have to go to Chipotle on that one. That shit is funny. Okay, so the location is in Fort Myers. So if you're in Fort Myers, you're missing out. And it's gone viral after several Yelp reviewers have alleged that a woman known as Lucy had fucked their husbands.
With the burrito?
We haven't got there yet.
Oh!
As pointed out, the location recently received a series of reviews discussing the alleged general manager's supposed proclivity to sleep with married men. Apparently, there's some controversy at my local Chipotle. Hey, dude, this is her, dude. Hold on, let me check her out.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
See it. Let's see.
Fam,
So at this location, don't order anything with like sour cream or queso.
that's
Anything
disgusting.
that
I think you
can
could dip your
hide some of
fingers
the
in.
stains. Yeah.
Alright, that's her. It's whatever. I'm not going to talk poorly like that about her.
Straight pretty.
So, I mean, I don't have a problem with this. I mean, I know what you guys are going to probably say. So, just to go a little bit further, the location featured is reviewed by a Jessica F. from Cape Coral, who cautioned married women visiting the location. Stay far away. Lexi?
Yeah, Lexi, stay far away.
I have a problem with listening to rules.
Lucy, the GM, or whatever position she thinks she's in, likes to sleep with your husband.
Oops.
While there's no way of telling if the review is genuine.
What?
Well, it's true. There's no people say
That's
whatever.
True.
People will say whatever online about whoever. There's a bigger point to this, man.
That's true.
It's just some people on the online talking about some people's sex life, bro. How are we supposed to know any of this is
Genuine?
They got no. See, the problem is with this, and I'm gonna tell you what makes this dangerous is they got this girl's image out there. Now, in one side, you're saying you know. Watch out for what AI images are online or what. This way this girl works. She's not online. They chose to put her online.
Yeah, a real person did that.
We don't know if she did this or not. This is a public place. People can go there, inflict bodily harm on her, threaten her. This is what the issue is. There's not. So there is an underlying reason why I'm reading this.
Don't believe everything you see on the internet.
Well, it's that and the potential for danger and violence and crimes to be committed on this person that hasn't done anything. Following Jessica, because they, of course they go on to line. I'll go further, but anyways, they go on the line of bullying her, threatening her life, because somebody's husband wanted to toss it in her.
Allegedly.
Those are allegedly. Nobody saw it. It's something they said online, and a bunch of excited adults thought the way to handle it is to go online and spread more rumors about it. They went on Yelp, where she works. She's got children. She pays her taxes. She's not a criminal. This isn't the biblical days where you can stone her. She's within the realm of the law to do whatever she wants. Something to think about, everybody.
Yeah.
Unless you've ever had it happen to you. 2/3 of Tinder users are really in relationships. See, now that's why I segued right into this. You heard what I just said?
Wait, they're
2/3 of people that use Tinder on a day-to-day basis are already in relationships.
Oh, so they're using it to
cheat. Well, that's why people use the internet.
Well, yeah. I mean, AshleyMadison.com.
People don't use the internet to deal with climate control. We don't use the internet to, share philosophy. That's not what the largest groups of people are doing on the internet.
No, they're using it to share pornography and bitch about other things.
Yes. People use the internet to fight.
Yeah.
And to tell lies about each other and to shop. Yeah. So 2/3 of you, which this isn't surprising to me, just off the heels of introducing relationship goals this year, because Tinder, I guess they have a new feature now that you can pay for, and they'll give you permission to have relationship goals. That's where we're at now. That's where we're at. Somebody asked me one time, what happens if Melissa dumped me? And I said, I'm going to be single. Because, and I mean it. Because I can't have software like in charge of like who I'm going to meet. Not me. Not me. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. But just the idea of like having a subscription to have permission to set couple goals with somebody,
yeah, that's
blows it for me. I just that's the part that.
Plus, I mean, let's be real. No one's using Tinder to get in a relationship.
Can I be real with you? I really don't know.
Well, I used Tinder for a very long time before I met my wife, and it was mostly just a bang.
Did it work?
Oh, yeah.
Well, if
I wouldn't have kept using it if it didn't work.
Right. Okay, all right. I didn't know. And you know what? And call me foolish. I guess I'm a little old fashioned in that sense. I really, and I'm saying this out of ignorance. I don't know. I've never sent a dick pic in my life, and I don't think it's like completely out my reach or something. It's never presented itself. No one's ever asked for one. I'm boring.
Well, see, real men don't send dick pics. Real men go out and disappoint women in real life.
Right.
At least that's how I did it.
Right. Fucking A, with drinking problems, fucking homelessness, inadequacies.
Well, I was in a metalcore band, so you had to be on your best behavior because there was already, a stigma around dudes in metalcore bands being,
really?
Rapists or whatever they call them.
Really? Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Awful. For the longest time, there was a solid
there was
several months where it's every day it's
my favorite. I don't even want to say the name. Right. My favorite screamer like in my favorite death metal band. So you know, I don't like all death metal bands. I only like the really good ones. And
Of course.
And I love death metal, but I just like the real good shit, you know. And boy, I like this band, man. I didn't want to tell you about it. But he's and now he screams for an even bigger band.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking about.
As soon as I found out that he was in the sex crimes, that's why I draw the line, buddy. It's hard for me to hear you scream aggressively and talk like that, because it just makes me think you're yelling at chicks. It's weird.
Can't think of it the same.
I can't. You don't seem tough anymore.
No.
You know, 'cause when I was in prison, you know, you guys might not want to hear this or not. I don't know if you guys know this, but like, that's the lowest you can go. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in for that sort of thing. I don't know why rock and roll accepts so many sexual criminals. Like, just in our mid-tier, you guys would never believe it. Like, the bands that go to the festivals and the amount of registered sex offenders and sex offender criminals that are in everyday and modern-day rock and roll. Anyone can look it up at any time.
Yeah, that's because rock stars don't go to jail. They have lots of money for lots of lawyers. Yeah. And that's how the U.S. justice system works. If you have money, you don't get punished. You just got to pay.
I think you're probably right.
Whoever can afford
looking back, you know, even Elvis, you know, had
oh my God, all the 80s bands, they were notorious for, you know, they fucked anything that moved.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. Steven Tyler married adopted a 13-year-old girl so that they could have a relationship.
Next. All right, so I mean, yeah, that's why I don't use Tinder. I'm old-fashioned. What can I say in that sense?
I was gonna say I'm definitely glad I don't have to worry about that game anymore.
I think Lexi will like this one. Grindr employees are unionizing. I think that I only put this up there because I feel like that more people should do that.
They should
unionize, absolutely.
No, but I just like, you know what Grindr is, right?
Isn't that the hookup app?
Yes, for alternative lifestyles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and I like that. I love that alternative people are standing up for themselves, and I think that they are a beacon of hope for the music industry.
Honestly,
the same way that sex workers and the LGBTQ community has stood up for themselves, I wish rock and roll would stand up for themselves the way the LGBTQ has.
They're very strong.
I feel like independent artists, painters, dancers, rockers, rollers, rappers, we need to stand up for ourselves the same way that these other lifestyle communities have.
It's freaking awesome.
Shout out to them.
It's definitely something to look at and admire.
It's just like, but how do you do it? You do it the way they did it.
Right. Inspire.
You know what I'm saying? They fought for their freedom, their privacy, their right to get paid, their right to work, their right to be treated fairly in public.
Their right to even
musicians
help them come
should
up
have
with ideas.
Musicians should have the same.
Yeah. 100%. That's awesome.
Unfortunately, Indonesia banned X.com's new or old Twitter under the new country's laws because, as you all know, Twitter and the new X have X-rated stuff on the site. Indonesia's done with it. They said no X.com around here, buddy. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's that.
That's cool. Respect their decision.
We have 1 minute.
Okay.
You want to do an according?
In a minute?
What do you got?
Lightning round.
What do you got?
For an according?
Yeah, the engineer left.
It's talking about Facebook groups.
Let's do it.
So...
Because we started with that.
Yeah, it's a good way to...
It's so fucking hot in here. I can't wait to go smoke weed outside.
So I'll make this quick. So a lot of bands and other promoters utilize Facebook groups in order to get there and share out not only like their stuff that they're working on, but other people's stuff that they're working on. And when Facebook groups first started out, these groups were massive. Most of the groups I'm talking about that are massive, for example, like there's a couple New England groups that are pretty big, like 16K, 22K. When they first came out, they were about like 1K, 500, and they gradually got bigger to where they are right now, just 22K and all this other stuff. And a lot of promoters and bands, and even people like me, use those groups to share. And in previous years, using those groups, it kind of worked, you know. You got a couple of hits in the comments, you got a couple of reactions in those groups, and maybe you even got a couple followers or other cool little conversion rates that come about utilizing those groups in that way. But now it's become a dumping ground. It's like I've scrolled in these groups recently, these big 22K groups that I used to use previously for, you know, promotionals and stuff, and I will scroll down and I will see no one engaging with anything, and it's become this like spam dumping ground in the groups. No one's talking to each other anymore. They're just putting and sharing in these groups and expecting things to be like how they were a couple years ago when they were utilizing these groups. And after seeing that, I started changing the way I use the groups.
Yep.
I started not only sharing to the groups, but I'll start friending those people. I'll start scrolling down and I'll like
people that are most active too, like admins or like community conversation starters.
Right.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
Commenting, even messaging them directly. I message a lot of people directly nowadays because messaging people I find is the best way to get, you know, new concert goers.
It's also good to
fans.
figure out who doesn't want to talk with you.
That too.
Yeah.
Like you message somebody 3 times and they're like, I don't want to go to your show. Fuck them.
Perfect.
Yep.
You know, right off the rep. Like there's no beating around the bush.
Right.
There's no like scrolling through your friends list. This person's no longer being a user. No.
And I'm gonna tell you why, because it's like if people shouldn't really have a window to what they think you're doing in life if they're not willing to support it.
Right.
So I'm with that. Like if I kind of go through my friends list every couple years, and I find that, you know, because most of us only use Facebook just for the band. If we didn't have the band, we wouldn't have threads. You know,
Right.
I wouldn't have that. The only reason why we have that is because of what we do for work. So it makes sense.
The same way though that you go through your friends list to try to find those quality like friends, or go through your messages to message those quality bands, you should be doing that for your groups too, especially if you're using it like to share out to others.
Yeah.
Let's say you're in a group and, for example, there's like 22K, and let's say you've been in this group for a while, you haven't made any friends, no one's, you know, responded or engaged with you, no one really seems to like you. You should get out of the group.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know what I mean? Or if you don't like the group
And that's not
anymore.
and that's not always terrible.
No.
It actually limits the time that you're spending, you know, creating pollution.
Right.
Because now, and Lexi's right, like there's a group for everybody. So like if you're not getting love in that 1 or 2 groups, if you move around a little bit, and not just groups on Facebook, there's other communities too. But she's right. We need to do a little bit more. If we're expecting people to engage with us and talk with us, we need to have a little bit more authentic output.
Instead of just like sharing a post from like your favorite band into the group, that's great, share things, but why not make your own post about it? Why not copy and paste the link and say something cool instead of just sharing and dumping? You know, make it a little bit more quality. Or if you are going to post in the group, may not just always be like just with your band. Maybe if you have a question that you need answers,
like an engagement post.
Yeah. Like instead of it always just be share, music. Yeah, that's great. Please share your music. Please do that. But maybe take it a step further and creating the post yourself and maybe making another post.
Original images too go a long way.
Yeah.
Like instead of just grabbing a meme off of something or just grabbing, you know,
make one
I
yourself.
know years ago it was popular for everybody to just kind of like remix an idea.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that was dope. And you know what I mean? And to some degree, sometimes that could be fun. But what's really popping right now is like original, unique, engaging content that continues and encourages, you know, longer conversations and returns. And Lex, you got a good point there. I think it's a good place for us to unplug too. We started with groups and how powerful Exile the Icons question was in our group, and coming full circle. I think you hit it right on the head. The internet is changing. The way we're engaging is changing. It's less of a world on social media where you're sharing your opinions and feelings. And where people are pulling back a little bit. People are saying, you know, I'm into thread-based messages. Like people are going back and saying, hey, you know what? For a few years, we were all in each other's face.
Yeah.
Everyone could say anything to everybody. Everyone had an opinion. Everyone could publish anything. And what they found is, after all the noise, they found that people are enjoying safer places. People are enjoying predictability and friendly faces. It's hard to advertise all.
Right.
You know, that's why the Netflix business model is having a tough time. And you'll see, as we become the DJs, you'll see even places like Spotify having to use new technology like AI. And you won't have these kind of curated playlists that are algorithmic based, you know, and heavily generated by ones and zeros. You're going to see a more omnipresent way to engage with music and discover things that you like. It won't be so algorithmically controlled. I think that's it. Melissa, you're back.
I am.
Well, we're going to go now.
Thank you guys for watching.
We'll see you guys next week.
Happy Hump Day.